Call to order the Avon Town Council meeting for Monday, March 10th, 2022. Please join me and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Julie, would you mind taking a roll call, please?
Steve Eisenbarth,
Present.
Robert Pope,
Present.
Aaron Teveball,
Present.
Don Loudon,
Present.
Greg Zuzan.
Present. All right, for the first item on the agenda, it's actually a pretty awesome one, the 911 Hero Award. Jared, are you handling this one?
I am not. I believe Keith is going to be taking this one.
Excellent.
Good. Thank you to the members of the council for allowing us to be here tonight. My name is Heath Brandt. I am the Executive Director of 911 for Johnson County. I am also one of the directors on the Indiana Executive Board of the APCO International, which is the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials, which is the largest 911 operator organization in the world. Also here tonight, you'll hear from Jason Abel, who is the Director of Shelby County 911 and the Central Region Vice President for the Indiana chapter of NENA, which is the National Emergency Number Association. We've been trying to get this award presented for quite some time now. We've hit a lot of roadblocks, so we are grateful that you've allowed us this opportunity to do this. I'd like to thank also Steve Daunt and the people at ERS Wireless. Steve is the government sales manager. You also see him tonight, who are our sponsors for this. So each year, the Indiana chapters of APCO and NENA come together to host the Indiana Public Safety Communications Conference. A highlight of this conference every year is the presentation of the Kids Hero Award that is awarded to a child under the age of 18 who has made a 911 call in which they demonstrated courage and maturity beyond their years. Due to the COVID pandemic, we have been unable to hold this conference in both 2020 and 2021. But we felt that the Kids Hero Award was important and the people involved in these calls still needed to be recognized. That is why we're here today, to award a special young lady with the 2020 and 2021 Kids Hero Award, as well as to honor the dispatcher who took that call. So on April 14th, 2021, so almost 1 year ago. At approximately 8:40 p.m., then 8-year-old Darasimi, or Rachel as she prefers, called 911 when her brother injured his arm. During this 6-minute phone call, Rachel was mature beyond her years. During my time as a 911 dispatcher, I've taken calls from countless adults in less stressful situations who were unable to maintain the level of composure that Rachel did that day. During the call, dispatcher, Kane Lesser, did what all dispatchers are trained to do and asked to speak to the adult that was in the residence. When Rachel put her grandmother on the phone, there was an obvious language barrier. And immediately, Kane asked to speak to Rachel again. I've listened to this call many times, and I'd be willing to bet that Kane never had to wonder if his questions and instructions were heard and understood, because without fail, Rachel would echo everything back to Kane, letting him know that she understood what was being asked of her. I can't tell you how helpful this is during a 911 call. Because of her courage and her maturity during this call, the Indiana chapters of APCO and NINA, along with our sponsors, ERS Wireless, are proud to present the 2020 and 2021 Kids Hero Award to Darasimi Rachel Fajana. Steve Don for ERS.
Hi, Rachel. My name is Steve, and I help the Indiana APCO and Indiana NINA chapters recognize the Kid Hero every year. And it's a distinct honor for me because I'm a retired firefighter and retired fire chief from Greenwood. So I spent 30 years going on calls that you helped initiate and make better for your brother. So it's a very big honor for me tonight, much more so than normal, what I normally do and try to sell stuff to somebody. So on behalf of both of APCO and NINA and ERS Wireless and really of the Hendricks County 911 Center, I want to present you with some thank yous, okay? We have a hat for you, but you don't have to wear that put out on your pretty hair. We have a couple, we understand maybe you like Roblox, so we have some Roblox for you. We have a tumbler for you that you can have some lemonade in while you watch TV. And then we have a $100 gift card you can spend on anything that you want. And then a $50 Roblox gift card as well. So you can play some games. So again, on behalf of Indiana NINA and APCO and all of us, thank you very much. You are wonderful.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
I'm Jason Abel, the 911 Director for Shelby County. There's another side to this call. That is aside from the perspective of the dispatcher, in this case, Hendricks County Communications Dispatcher, Kane Lesser, who has now been with his department for almost 6 years. I can tell you that at any time a 911 dispatcher takes a call from a child as a dispatcher, you have to change the way you treat the caller. During a call with a child, you may have to change the way you ask a question. For example, you may ask a question if someone is unconscious as to maybe they're sleeping. During this call, there were times when Kane immediately recognized that Rachel did not understand his question. When that happened, Kane immediately changed how he asked the question so that Rachel could understand. Another thing that we are taught to do with children is continually assure them that they're doing a great job and recognize how difficult it is for them. Throughout this call, Kane continually praised Rachel for how well she was doing with the situation. Kane handled this call perfectly and is a wonderful example that proves that Indiana has some of the best 911 dispatchers in the country. Because of his dedication to his profession and the people of Hendricks County, The Indiana chapters of APCO and NINA, along with our sponsor ERS Wireless, are proud to present Kane Lesser with the Kids Hero Dispatcher Recognition Award. You want to say anything?
I'm a little nervous, so please forgive me. Don't do well in the public situations. But Rachel, I'd like to congratulate you. You did an absolutely wonderful job. Like I said, the maturity level, which you handled that is a lot better than most adults that we speak to on a daily basis. So I wish you and your family the best in all your endeavors. God bless you.
Again, Kane. Again, one of the things that we had the honor to do, and I've had the honor for the last 6 or 7 years representing ERS Wireless, is along the way of giving out the Kids Hero Award for a number of years, we've realized that the piece that makes it all come together is the actual public safety 911 operator as well. And we get the unique ability to recognize both Rachel for her actions and in yours for your actions. So again, on behalf of Indiana, NINA, and APCO, on behalf of ERS Wireless, there's some stuff you don't know about that. There's dinner for you and whoever at Texas Roadhouse on all of us. And then there's a gift card to buy whatever suits your desires. And
Thank you
so
very
thank you. You did an awesome job.
Next item on the agenda, the MPO check presentation. And then after that, we will take a small recess for some pictures.
Hi, Anna Grumling here with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Planning Organization. What is that, you might ask, besides the entity, right, that is presenting the council with a $10.6 million check? We are a regional planning organization, so mostly founded in transportation, though recently expanding into other areas like economic development, water, land use, and housing. Every time you fill up at the gas pump, you pay a federal gas tax. We get a portion of that funding back to Central Indiana, and that today is the funding that we are distributing for your project. I think it's really important for you guys to understand that this is a highly competitive process. We use data to analyze projects that are submitted by communities. We had over 72 projects submitted, totaling over $200 million by 23 municipalities. Your 2 projects were scored and ranked and rose to the top. So our final recommendations, right, there were only 30 projects awarded, right? And so your project today, or 2 projects, Dan Jones, County Road 100 North and Raceway Roundabout, are the 2 projects that today we'd like to award your community, right, with a check, and you guys will be moving forward and delivering that project on time and on budget, right, Ryan? And we've had a long-standing relationship with Avon and have funded a number of projects over the years. So I have all the confidence you will deliver the project. And so I wanted to congratulate you guys and deliver the check. So, thank you. Yes.
Thank you. You want to take the recess now and do that? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
do you want to do
Receipt
this
the
now?
check.
Okay.
Why not? It's a big check.
What do you want? Do you want to?
Where do I run?
I can just do an ACH, Robert. You don't need to take the check anymore.
Absolutely.
One more. Call the meeting back to order. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the check register from March 10th, 2022, and the minutes from February 24th, 2022, work session memorandum, and the meeting minutes.
We have a first.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Julie, would you mind taking a roll call, please?
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Don Loudon,
Four.
Robert Pope,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
Form.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Next item on the agenda is the first of 2 public comment opportunities. You may comment on items on the agenda that are not a public hearing or on a specific matter within the council's jurisdiction. This is not a Q&A session, but an opportunity to share your comments with the council. Please come forward to the microphone, state your name and address, and limit your time to 3 minutes. Seeing no one coming forward, I will close that section of public comment. Next item is the department updates. Who's first? Bill?
Hey, why not? Walk right in the door and get right to work. All right, so the rundown of the planning and zoning related issues. The Board of Zoning Appeals has one special exception on hearing from March. It's a 4,000 square foot building near 100 North and Avon Avenue, a little vacant property zone C4. And the C4 district does require a special exception to build a retail building on it. And so that's going to be heard by the Board of Zoning Appeals this month. Plan Commission has, it'll have 4 items on the agenda. The UDO, which you returned to them at your last meeting. A development plan review for the RISE development on Ronald Reagan. The Avon Landing Industrial Development Plan Review, which is up on the north side of Ronald Reagan. So I guess we got north and south sides of Ronald Reagan going at the same time. And then DRG has a request for a zone map amendment for a property near Bradford Road and Ronald Reagan Parkway. As far as the TAC meeting, which is happening next Thursday, we have 10 items on the agenda, which means that we'll fill up the Plan Commission's agenda in April will be fairly heavy. I've reviewed almost all of them, and they all require a public hearing. So the Plan Commission will have 10 items on its agenda in April. I'm looking forward to writing those reports. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Hey, Bill, might that be an opportunity to split out, have a second meeting that month?
We could. Most of them have already done their notice, legal notice of public hearing. They've put it in the mail.
Okay.
But we can check it. Yeah.
It might be one of those opportunities we don't want them to be here 11 o'clock at night.
I don't think they can be. can
Yeah,
they?
Plan Commission has rules of procedure that they can't start a petition after 11 unless by, I think it may not be unanimous consent, by majority vote. I could take a look at the rules and see what it allows. I mean, all these people have filed for that April meeting, so it takes some negotiation with the petitioners.
Roger that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything I can say to it,
Yeah,
just an
there-
opportunity of,
There's nothing, well, see, this is how I jinx myself. But there's nothing on here that's incredibly controversial except for maybe one case, a planned unit.
you say that now.
I say that now, and then of course, 15 of the cases will become controversial, but we busted through quite a few petitions in the April meeting, and I think we can bust through quite a few petitions in the March, February meeting, and we should be able to do the same thing in March or April.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Who's next? Mike? You look like you're meandering up here.
Mike Tully, Planning and Building Director, Building Commissioner, and I know that because I got a fancy new name tag today. So, have very few items for you of any interest. Just want to give you an update. We're still in the process that our inspection flows are typical winter time. We don't have 20 stops a day. So we're utilizing the time to close and to upload permits onto our system. And we've literally gone through hundreds of them since the beginning of the year. And so we're making excellent progress, but we're chipping at that boulder is all I can tell you. It's a big boulder. So you've got my my monthly report from February. Permit activity jumped quite a bit from January of this year to February. And so we're back on track as far as that goes. So that's all I have for you, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
It's interesting to see that through the first 2 months of this year, you've already exceeded all of 21 in your construction value dollars.
Mm-hmm.
From 17, almost 18 million to now this year, you're at 27 million.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a massive influx, to say the least, in February, where housing activity in January was close to nil. And in 2 days, we had 51 applications for new homes. So only took me 3 days to get them ready. So not bad.
Yeah, great job, Mike. Any other questions? Nope. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Sean Stoops with the Avon Police Department. First, like to kind of plug our hiring process for police officers. It's still going on. We encourage anyone that has an interest in law enforcement as a career to please go to the town's website and follow the link to career opportunities with the Avon Police Department. Currently, we have about 97 applicants, I was just told this evening. And so we're hoping to get even more over the course of the next several weeks. And that hiring process will close around the first week of May. So there's still time to do that. It's a very short process. The online pre-application is very short, has a few qualifiers just to see if you qualify. And then you're signed up for the written test as well as the physical agility test that's coming up here in May. So please don't hesitate to do that. Our Indiana Crime Gun Task Force member, their team over in Indianapolis is doing a fantastic job, not just in Indianapolis, but in the surrounding counties as well. To date this year so far, they've already seized 41 illegal firearms. They've made nearly 100 state arrests, a pretty good number of federal arrests as well. Of those weapons that have been seized, 37 of those have been handguns. And several of those have been linked in the NIBIN crime system, crime gun documenting system. So if you're not familiar with that, that's the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. It's kind of like where we keep our fingerprints of all of the bad guys out there. This keeps track of all the bad guns that are out there. So if those guns are used in different crimes throughout the United States, we can take that information, enter that into NIBIN with the weapons we find here on the street, and help clear unsolved cases, even as far as California or New York or Florida or wherever that might be. Just to put this in a little bit of perspective, last night, our task force member had a case that he was called out for right here in Hendricks County. One of our police officers did a fantastic job, made a traffic stop, saw some suspicious activity, called for the crime guns task force officer. He responded. They located a few guns in the car as well as some narcotics. They contacted the person, the business where the guns were purchased. And then through some investigation, they discovered that there were, this person was responsible for literally dozens of straw purchases for weapons. And once they were in custody, they were able to determine that there was even more cases that this person was tied to. And so they cleared a lot of cases last night just by using that task force member and the good work of our local police officers as well. So we want to congratulate them on a great job last night. We just finished our promotion process. We don't have all the results tabulated yet, but we expect to make an announcement here in the next week. So all of you will be notified of that. And we'll probably have some type of a presentation at our next merit board meeting regarding that. And we would encourage and invite each of you to be there to share in that moment as well. Last week was Officer Tony Fight's last day. I know a couple of you were able to attend and see his final sign off on the radio. Spent nearly 20 years with our agency in numerous different areas of expertise, investigations. He was a canine handler, narcotics officer, firearms instructor, defensive tactics instructor. The guy was just a great asset, and we're really sad to see him go and lose such a great resource on our agency. But so that's another vacancy that we're going to have to fill. So we're going to need even more people to make sure that they go to the Avon Town's website and apply for those positions. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
I got one for you,
Yes, sir.
Sean. Is that police merit board, is that the one on Monday, this coming Monday, the 14th?
It was originally scheduled for the 21st, but I don't believe that the presentation and the tabulations will be completed in time for that. So I think we may push that back to the following Monday after that. I'm sorry, that will be the 21st. It's supposed to be next week, but we pushed it to the 21st.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Oops.
Steve Moore, Public Works. Doing a lot of work out on the roads, getting potholes filled. We did a lot of temporary pothole patching. On Monday, we're actually going to use hot mix and do a more thorough job and go through our list that we have. So as Keaton and I, we drove all the roads, all the subdivisions, and we picked up a lot of locations, and they gave a comprehensive list to our contractor. And as we get notices daily of potholes, we vet that to see if we've already looked at it or not. And if we haven't, we'll look at it and possibly add it to a list, but it should take a day or two to get those all filled. Drainage, we had a lot of water, and Keaton and I went out and we unplugged a bunch of culverts where people either failed to rake their leaves or gather their leaves out of the swales, or they actually blew them into the swales and made it even more fun. So we, there's nothing more satisfying to see that water go. So I'm just saying, I really didn't mind too much. Anyway, yeah, it is. I had my shovel actually sucked in a couple times where I actually pulled and pulled and pulled, and of course you pull really hard, you fall on your butt, you look around, see if anyone's looking, then you get up real quick. But anyway, it was kind of fun. So anyway, yeah, we're doing that. We actually then through that, we've watched and seen some areas that we need to do some shoulder grading with to make sure that we can get the water off the road so it doesn't freeze next winter. And we're going to have some freezing temperatures overnight. Get down to 32. It's not supposed to get down below 32. We will have a couple trucks out at 5 o'clock in the morning to spread salt and sand in our arterials and roundabouts, bridges, any slick spots that we usually get. So we'll get that done this morning or this coming morning. Anyhow, but yeah, so we're looking at just for drainage projects. I'm going to try to assemble a portfolio of projects so so I can get a better price than just doing the onesies and twosies. And so I'll get some quotes on that. Actually, Keaton's got 2 new contractors we haven't used before that are local that are interested in bidding. So we'll have some competition. See, street sweeping was done Monday and Tuesday of this week. So we got some of the sand up from the winter that we put down. Should have been able to reuse that. That'd have been good.
Going to ask, do you recycle that?
We didn't, but I'm thinking about it. There's some contaminants in there. I don't know that we actually could, but got me thinking now. I don't know if anybody who actually does, but we might. Maybe we can get a sieve or something, and I don't know. It's a thought. So he did that. Keaton had that done on Monday and Tuesday, and then he also scheduled the heavy trash day for April 23rd. So that's coming up. We do have a list for yard repairs from the snow plowing that we did over the winter. And so if there are any other people that are interested in getting their yards repaired from snow plow damage, they need to submit that so we can get that all at one fell swoop. We got draft documents for our construction projects for this year going on. I gave Keaton the guardrail, crack fill, and reclamite to do. I'm taking the shoulder grading and the asphalt paving. So I only got 2. He's got 3. Advantages of being in charge, right? Anyhow, so yeah, those are getting ready to be go out. GIS, Keaton and Daniel. I really appreciate Daniel. Where's Mike? And Bill. Really appreciate Daniel. He's doing a great job with the GIS, and we're actually doing some data collection and getting ready to do some field work where Keaton will be able to go out. And he's already actually Saturday he went out and looked at all the street lights for the roundabouts and the major thoroughfares, and see which ones are out. And then he noticed a couple like 100 North and Dan Jones and 1050. They were actually damaged inside the electric boxes that he discovered, and that's so we called a contractor out, and guy came out today and fixed those. Now we're going to just replace the bulbs next week. We should have all the lights hopefully back up next week. But anyway, he's going to be putting the labels on the street lights and get them identified. So if we ever have them out, all people have to do is look at, say, oh, hey, that's A122. We go on the GIS, pop in 122. We know exactly which light's out. So that's going to be kind of cool. So Keaton and Daniel have been working on that. Signs, we know we have some signs down. We've ordered signs to replace the ones that got knocked down in over the winter, and we've replaced a couple stop signs. When they go down, we replace them the same day usually, and Keaton and I have been doing that. That's pretty much it, I guess. Questions?
2 things. One of them is the roads over by True Car Wash. Obviously, they're from people coming in and getting their car washed, and it's just kind of tearing up the roads. What's the plan to really fix that?
Well, obviously, we have the pothole patching is going to happen on Monday and Tuesday, hopefully to take care of that temporarily. It's on the list of roads, and it's in the priority somewhere to go ahead and mill and fill that at some point. It's not in the plan for the $2 million project that we submitted to NDOT. But after that washes out, we figure out what kind of money we have left. We may get to it this year, it may be next year, but it's on the list.
And my other comment, if you go, I travel up and down Avon Avenue daily, and it seems to be there's a extraordinary amount of debris on that road. My sense is it's those big semis that sometimes it could be garbage trucks or whatever, and they got the tarp across, and we've had 40-mile-per-hour winds, and it's blowing it all over. But if you look on the shoulders of the road, there is a lot of debris out there.
Yeah, so we have a contractor that we hired to come out, and actually Ray's this morning, they're going to go up on Avon Ave from 100 North and north of that. There was some like styrofoam or something that blew out.
That's right where it is.
Okay, so they're going to come out and pick that up.
Okay.
So, yeah, we coordinate with different people. Race is really cooperative. We like them a lot. They're coming to come out and take care of that, but we do also have a contractor that we have going up and down the roads. And I don't know that we have a date scheduled yet, but there's going to be a cleanup day that Jared's organizing. So if we have locations that we're interested in more than others, if you let Jared or I know, we'll try to see if we can include that in that cleanup day.
Thanks. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Jared, I didn't forget you this time.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Bill. Jared Wade, Communications Director, Town of Avon. All right, Bill. All right. It's going to be fun. Next meeting is going to be really great. Next meeting is March 24th. Next town council meeting is March 24th. You're going to hear about that again later on at the very end, because Ryan always tells you the next meeting, that's going to be on.
March 24th.
Well done to you and you and you. Well done. That's also the date that our new website goes live. We've been working on this for a long time, and everything is shaping up to launch, and it's going to be fantastic. We have training with some additional staff members tomorrow morning, as well as Monday afternoon, to talk about two specific elements, one of them being Request Tracker. Request Tracker is going to be an advanced version of what primarily Steve and Public Works, as well as the police and Daniel, are going to be using. The community is going to be able to use this to actually take a picture of issues. They're going to be able to zoom in on a map, give specific details about where they're at. So if they're not at a light, they don't have an A1 or a QR code, they can still jump on the website, give very specific details, and then we're going to be able to communicate back and forth with them. Here's what's going on, can give detail updates, so on and so forth. This is just one of a plethora of different upgrades that I'm really excited about. The technology part of me is very, very geeking out, and I think the community is going to like it. It's going to be a learning curve, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Greg is very excited about it because I know Greg loves technology. Let's get those laser discs out. All right, so.
Where's the on-off switch?
So website March 24th, April 30th is what Steve was talking about. That is our next community cleanup date. Keaton is the one that's spearheading that and leading that. So I would encourage anybody, if you're watching at home right now and you've got some areas that need to be picked up, reach out to the town, but reach out to Keaton Olson. Keaton Olson is going to be the one that is putting that whole thing together. I know that Kingsway Christian Church has reached out. They've got a large group of individuals. So we said, well, let's just get as big as we can. So we're going to start promoting it at the beginning, not the beginning of April, but at the tail end of March, to let the community know where we're going to be at so they can sign up and they know where those areas are going to be at. This last weekend, I was out with Nathan and Ryan and two other young ladies, and I can't remember their names, from the Hendricks cleanup. Carol Ford and Lisa, Kern. And they were working out in a very small area, but it's very shocking. If you never really went out and looked at how much trash there is off of US 36 or just piled up all over the place, it will really shock you. So I would encourage you, if you've got a family, if you're just a couple, if you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, you want to go on a date and you want to help clean up Avon, hey, let's do it, man. Let's make this happen. That's April 30th. Put that in your calendar. Ryan and I are working on a communications policy and a marketing policy. These are to be put in place just so that there is a very clear definition of what our branding type is, what we're going to be using for colors, fonts, styles, things of that nature, what sources we're going to use, what sources we're not going to use. That way we can get a very clear, definitive, this is the direction that Avon is going. And it's going in a really good direction, in my opinion. We just want to get that foundation laid down a bit tighter. Other than that, props to Endeavor for being our new internet provider. That went great. We have high-speed internet. Bill, we have high-speed internet. All right. But no, I'm really excited about that. Live streams are better. They're a little more fluid. I know that there has been some other folks that have said that they haven't noticed a speed difference. I'm not mentioning any names, but she's our treasurer, Julie Loker. So just saying, the speed. Endeavor, if you're watching, thank you for providing some high-speed internet for not only the staff, but the Wi-Fi here for the public to use is also fast as well. Happy to answer any questions or turn it back over to Bill for another rousing, positive response.
That is a plethora of work that you're doing. I like that.
Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jared. Is that it?
Do we give out clown awards?
I have no updates.
All right,
and
fair enough. Next item on the agenda, council comment and liaison reports. Start with you, Dawn.
Okay, so I attended the Stormwater Board meeting. They just had a few items, mostly just invoice authorizations to be paid. I attended the Annexation Open House Committee last night for our Priority Area 3. And I think we had about 6 families out of maybe 11 of the property owners that were in that total group there. We will be out walking the first area, which was Liberty Meadows. So Greg and I both have a stack of people that we need to follow up with on that.
I'm following up for what you left behind, Robert.
I wasn't going to say it. Avon PD. This was kind of a cool thing that happened yesterday. I don't know if you guys watched the video or not, but a group of citizens got together and came up with an idea. It was a grassroots effort from these citizens. Businesses weren't, well, they weren't even allowed to participate in it, in funding it or anything like that. And they presented a really nice shield to our police department. They made Chief Stoops read a card. I think I saw him choke up a little bit there when it. Yeah, is that it? Yeah. So anyway, if y'all get a chance, go over. It'll be hung as soon as they can reinforce the wall to be able to hang it, because it's a heavy piece of. It's really cool. It was nice to see the citizens acknowledge our police department. Lastly, I've been working with Amanda Babinik over at the Washington Township. She had an idea one day when she was at Jiffy Lube getting her oil changed, and saw that the expansion was happening over there, and she questioned what's going to be on the other end, because they have the mural on the one end. And so she called and we started talking, and we had a conference call yesterday, or a Zoom call. Julie Moore from the Indianapolis Art League and Lacey Ryan from the Avon High School. She's actually the person that oversees the arts scholars little section of the art department there. The students in Avon are going to be able to design the mural that goes on the other end. That took special corporate approval, and the franchise owner, Steve, that owns 51 of the stores here in the area, got that approved. And then it will be painted actually by someone from the Art League. It needs to be a professional painter, but the children will be helping learn how to scale it to mural size, 10 by 35. And the really cool thing is that even though it cost between $6,000 and $17,000 to paint that end of the building with the mural, the franchise owner, Steve, has agreed to have it repainted and redesigned every 4 years so that every student gets an opportunity to be a part of it.
That's great.
And it'll keep it current for us.
That's good stuff. Thanks, Dawn. Aaron.
Yeah, RDC will meet on March 21st. The Parks Board was rescheduled for April. And I just want to, everybody keep the family in their thoughts from the fatal crash that we had here with the Plainfield student. And appreciate all the work that our officers did and the surrounding agencies coming in to help on that.
Thanks, Aaron. Greg?
I attended the library board meeting. As Sean said, Officer Fite's sign off. Another citizen in our community, Ed Martin, just passed away. Ed was involved in a number of things, certainly the merit board for the county, but he was also the chairman of the original consolidation committee. And so I just want to recognize that, Ed with a D, but Ed was a great person. And so I enjoyed him, and we went to church together. So Ryan and I also met with a landowner up in the northwest part of the township. As Dawn said, we had the annexation open house, and we are going to go out knocking on doors. And then regarding the accident and also regarding the video, again, our community, our citizens are recognizing the jobs that all of our staff is doing, planning, public works, zoning, communication specialist. And our police department, I've said it once, I say it twice, I'll keep saying is the best in the state. And just keep on keeping on because people see it and people are recognizing you for it. And that's probably a big selling card that we have for our community. So I want to thank everybody and thank you, Sean, for what you guys do. That's all I have.
Thanks, Greg. Steve?
You know, it was a privilege tonight to have the 911 Hero Award and just to see all the people here that were in the audience. It's just amazing to do that and see that. And you know, what reminded me of this too is there's a certain dynamic for people when they're available to come here. There's things that you can catch that you don't quite catch on live stream, but live stream's good. But it's great to be able to see the energy. So I appreciated all that. Dawn and I were able to go to the Plan Commission. Similar thing is, you know, for me to watch it on live stream, it's one thing. But when I get to see each of the board members interacting, that was good. That was rewarding. And I know that we saw that. Big thank you to Bill Peoples too he plowed through those 7 items on the agenda. And Bill, you know, I have no doubt you can go through this next long list and get through there because we got out of there before 10. I mean, it was 9:30ish or so. That's not bad for a long list of meetings. So thank you, Bill, for facilitating and having great reports. And basically everything was approved. Great discussions. They get into all the details about why 11-inch overhang on a rafter. And things that you don't even think about. It's just very interesting. You have to be there in person. So let's see. Besides that, I think I just want to say, you know, for tonight too, about the $10.6 million for helping out Dan Jones and Raceway. Wow. Staff, everyone working on that was just amazing. When we hear those numbers from the region saying that there were 72 projects and our 2 projects came up to the top, that means it's a well-written report. And so thank you, Ryan. I know you've had this for over the years and you've got all your staff just doing that. So all 5 of us, we sincerely appreciate your hard effort. And I definitely want to leave on that point. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. For me, actually, I've not had any liaison appointment meetings. I've been meeting with, it seems like every single other person in the community one-on-one. And I wanted to follow up on a few things. Just, you're absolutely right, Steve. Thank you for the hard work, Ryan, you guys did on the MPO. And another big shout out to these 2 local heroes, Darcini, Rachel, and Kane. It's just, that's just awesome. That's it for me. Moving right on, new business award quote for plotter scanner. Bill?
Hello, me again. Bill Peoples, Planning Director for the town. What I'm coming before you is a award for a quote for a plotter and a scanner. As you all are probably aware, the town has, well, since 1995 anyway, all of our records still in paper format. I've had the senior planner scanning documents, and he's up to 2004, I think, right now. So, you know, but what he has been doing is just 11 by 17 and below. And obviously in our line of work, we have a lot of large format scan plans that we need to also incorporate into these files. So what we are asking for is a plotter scanner. We did go out to 3 different entities and request a quote, Braden, Eastern Engineering, and Impact. And Eastern Engineering came in the lowest. Their quote was for a total of 16,000, sorry, looking for it.
749.
That's it, 16,749. That was the lowest by far by far, because the next one up was in the neighborhood of 24,000. So we were,
My question, what were the other two bids?
one of them said, we can't meet Eastern Engineering's quote. The other one said 24,000, and then Eastern came in at 16,700.
Have you done business with them before, Eastern?
We haven't done business with them, but they have been very, very responsive. And so, and Steve and I went up to their offices. They showed us, my God, it must have been 7 or 8 plotter scanners, different ones. And we found that this particular model there were cheaper models, but the cheaper models had more expensive ink, the way it works on these things. And this one was a really good plotter, really good scanner, high quality output, and relatively decent operation expenses. So that even though it wasn't the cheapest scanner, it was probably the best fit for us.
There's good support for it here in the proposal. I thought that was good, that they
Yeah.
supported it well.
Any further discussion? If not, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we take staff's recommendation and have the approval of the quote for Eastern Engineering not to exceed $16,749 to purchase the HP page-wide XL 4200 and authorize our clerk treasurer to make payment for that equipment.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Nope. Julie, would you mind taking a roll call, please?
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, award quote for County Road 100 North and Avon Avenue signal improvement. Steve, is that you? Alrighty.
So at 100 North and Avon Ave, we have a fairly well operating intersection, but it could be better. And so what this is for is to add the 4 section left turn arrows in the 4 directions, so that we can get more people through the intersection during a certain call. Oftentimes, when you're at a signal and they don't have that left turn signal that's on, you get a certain amount of time, then it turns red, and you have to sit there, even though there's no one coming the other way. You're like, what the heck? So this is the what the heck. We're going to put that in just like we have at other locations. The other thing is the right turn arrow for right turners for a protected right turn. We have it at 2 directions right now, but we don't have it on the other 2 directions. So now we can get more people through, right turners through. So all this is going to do is just make it operate more smoothly. I have new signal timings coming. Etica's working on those right now. So when we get this equipment, then they'll program in the new timings, and it should just operate more smoothly, more efficiently.
Any questions for Steve?
Question. You do indicate it's 100 North and Avon Avenue, but you also have 2 other locations in here. County Road 150 South.
Good catch, Greg.
And the Maria Lane and High School.
Yes, sir. So in order to get a better quote on some loop installation, that we have some loops that went bad on 2 other locations, I bundled it in with that project so I get a better price. And so, yeah, those, and we've talked about this before, the loops at Avon High School and the loops at Dan Jones at 150. We've actually did a workaround so that we don't get false calls on the opposing, when there's no one sitting at the other sides. But now it's time to fix the loop so we don't have, so it'll operate more efficiently because it'll detect the cars. We're bypassing it right now where it doesn't detect every location. So, yeah, I bundled that in there just to get a better price.
So that's included in the 27,000.
It is.
I can honestly say at that Maria Lane one, I went when it was red because I got tired of waiting.
Yeah.
Sean, you hear that? Yep,
I got
Sean.
tired of waiting.
He put it on public record. I just noted that.
So all I'm saying is it's the right time to fix it.
Yeah, we need to get it done.
Mitchell, follow up.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, that's what they call a statement deemed admission.
Can you also bundle in 100 South at Ronald Reagan, those left turns, eastbound, westbound left turns that come up and when there's no cars there? Is that part of the census pucks, or are they going to replace some of those over there?
The pucks we're replacing are at 100 North in Ronald Reagan.
Oh,
So are you saying you think there's some bad pucks at 100 South?
well, what it is it locks in a left turn when there's no one there. And heavy morning traffic eastbound, for example, people get a little frustrated because they're queued up.
I'll look at the controller because it should, if there's no one, if it's not picking anybody up and it's already giving you a call for that, then that means that it's programmed in. So I can probably change that.
Sure.
So I'll look at it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We don't want Greg to be a multiple offender.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and I will say, don't forget that intersection at 100 South and Ronald Reagan is actually getting a new signal and it's getting new loops as well as part of the 100 South project. So that will be happening over the next couple of months as well.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
part of the 100
Does that
South
get
project.
widened also for that west approach?
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
yep.
Oh, good. It carves into the church. Okay.
Yeah, they're actually taking out a lot of the concrete pavement and then
Excellent.
put in asphalt pavement and then widen,
Yeah,
change the
that-
radius.
That'll work a lot more efficient. So that's great.
Any other questions?
If there's no other questions, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve Signal Construction's quote in the amount of $27,080 for the projects that are in our document here. And I guess that funding will be taken from the MVH fund.
Second.
We have a
Third.
first, I'm sorry.
Third.
We have a first and a second. Do we have any further?
Have a third.
discussion? And a third. Julie, take roll call, please.
Don Loudon,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Craig Zuzen,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Robert Pope.
4. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 2022-02, authorization to pursue the acquisition of property.
Yeah, I'm going to take this one. The council, we had some discussions about potentially pursuing some land for acquisition. And so staff had asked the council, we had identified a couple of properties. We do not anticipate that the town would buy all of these properties. We just want the ability to go have some conversations with these potential property owners and for the town council to give us some leeway to potentially do appraisals. And if we need to write agreements, to have our attorneys involved and to try to get to the steps where we could potentially have, get to a point where we could purchase. Again, we wouldn't purchase all of them. We may only purchase one of them or maybe two of them even, but not all of them. In order for that to happen, we do need the town council to pass a resolution to authorize staff to move forward. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ryan? Entertain a motion.
I move we approve Resolution 2022-2 as presented.
Second.
We have a first and second. Any further discussion? Nope. Julie, please take roll call.
Robert Pope,
4.
Craig Zuzen,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
All right, this is a big one. Final reading for 2022-04 Easton Gray. Bill, you presenting this one?
Well, I'm just doing the plan commission's recommend or recommendation to you, and maybe quickly just briefly go through my staff report. This is a request to rezone nearly 487 acres from a number of zoning classifications to the planned unit development zoning district to provide for a mixed-use planned unit development. And this development consists of 6 distinct parts. The first part really is the mixed-use town center coming right off of 36. And then 4 distinct sections of traditional single-family residential layered essentially from south to north between 36 and 100 North. And then there is a large age-restricted community as part of it. The future land use and cluster map of the comprehensive plan recommends about 13% of this site for a town center, 32% of the site for specialty housing, and the remaining 55% really has no overt land use recommendation. The purpose of the town center recommendation, create a vibrant central gathering spot. The specialty housing recommendation is to provide for a variety of desirable housing options that moves beyond the simple single-family detached and attached model. And then the 55 acres that has no overt recommendation is largely zoned either R2 or R1A, which are single-family residential zoning classifications. So when you add all of that together, you find that this development is largely consistent with the comprehensive plan's recommendation for this area. as a planned unit development. The Plan Commission did hear this. They heard this at their January 24th meeting. They forwarded you a recommendation, and that was a favorable recommendation. It was unanimous. And they did subject that to 2 conditions. And that was the developer shall continue to coordinate with the town, county, and Indiana Department of Transportation to mitigate insufficient roadway and degradations of service as a result of this development prior to secondary master plan approval of the plan unit development. And that the developer shall ensure that contiguous sidewalks shall be constructed throughout the development to provide for the opportunity for safe routes to schools. The town manager and the public works director have been negotiating with the developer, and I believe they've come to an agreement, at least a tentative agreement on the road improvements. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Details, the petitioner is here, and they're ready to present any details that you're willing to hear as well.
Open it up questions for staff or the petitioner.
Couple questions, just clarification. There was a traffic study done recently or within?
Yes.
Okay. At another meeting, there was a concern from the schools about bus turnaround. And I think there was going to be a conversation with the school and the developer about that. Is that taking place?
I believe it has, yeah.
And it was satisfactory resolution for both parties?
Yes.
There's a neighbor down on the River Birch area where the road is going to get rerouted. Has those issues been addressed and agreed upon?
Well, we've addressed them. I don't think we've agreed with 100% with the are we talking about?
Yeah, I think so. You may let the
Yeah. The original orientation of that was that we were gonna, I think, dead end 75. And it turned out to be more economical and a better solution to vacate it along its whole length and then incorporate a new east-west road into the development. And that's what this planned unit development would propose as part of it is, and then of course those 2 property owners on 75 would have access through the development to that new road for their property. So we're not cutting off anybody. They would have access through the development to the new road for their properties.
Then all these agreements over the last 2 years are now all part of, going to be in writing and part of public record.
Yes.
Then there was this addendum that was handed out to us. Can you go over that? Did you see this?
That's the draft of the transportation related commitments.
Okay.
Right. In this, so when we did a traffic impact study, it was, there was some degradation of service at certain intersections. And most of them adjacent to the development or adjoining the development. We had one Avon Avenue and 100 North, which was remote from the development. And part of the negotiation has been to ensure that the level of service doesn't degrade beyond the current level of service, which in most cases is either A or B. That has resulted in the need for certain improvements to those intersections. One of them, I believe, is around, or 2 of them are roundabouts, and then most of them are just turn lane improvements. We've done, Public Works has done some cost estimates, and then we've apportioned those costs based on the traffic impact study and proportions of those costs to the developer. And the negotiations have been going on, has been how to collect those, and that's what you see in there. The mechanism and some loose timing as far as completing those improvements, but also the mechanism for collecting the developer share of the costs associated with providing those improvements to the citizens of the town.
All I have. Thank you.
Any further questions? I have a few. I'm gonna pepper at you, but I want to give an opportunity.
I first, I'm good, Greg, that you brought that up because I was very pleased to see that the town's holding to the line of, restore it to the area of the level of service where we're at. Whereas a developer sometimes will try to look at it as C, D, or E.
Right.
For seconds of delay in those. And I think we should always keep it to the highest standards that we expect of it and not just to a letter grade. So thank you.
Yeah, it was important, especially to Public Works and Town Manager, that we didn't have a significant degradation. And by significant, I mean a change in the level of service.
Yeah.
There, obviously, when you're dealing with a development of this size, you're going to have an increased traffic impact on the surrounding roadway system. But we just want to make sure that those roadways operate similarly to the way they're operating now.
Yeah, and you did well in mitigating it, making sure that their improvements are matched with that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? I got a few of them here. Bill, I'm gonna run by you. I expect yes or no, they're quick. So does this preserve a significant portion of natural features or farmland?
No farmland, but yeah, significant natural features. There's lots of terrain and creeks there.
Does this have a complementary mix of uses or a variety of housing types that provide a benefit to the community over conventional development?
Yes.
Does this provide open space for passive or active recreational use?
Quite a bit of it, yeah.
With today's addendum, does this provide for off-site mitigation to impacts to the community, such as roadway improvements that will maintain or improve level of service?
Yes, it does.
Is this proposed as a PUD to redevelop an area where creative design can address the site's unique constraints?
Yes.
Will this result in an unreasonable increase in the use of public services, public facilities, and/or utility capacities?
No.
Is this consistent with our comp plan and/or future land use?
Yes.
Is this consistent with the intent and spirit of the PUD zoning use?
Yes.
And will this impede the continued use or development of surrounding properties?
No.
All right, that's it for me. There's nothing else. I'll entertain a motion.
I have two questions. It's probably more economic than anything for the developer. Is your timeline and the phases that you've brought to us, is it still going to track that way? And I ask that because of the increase in cost, inflation, labor force, materials, and all that.
Well, it's a fantastic question. For the record, I'm Sean McInnes for Public Development, 13578 East 131st Street, Suite 200, Fishers. Get that out there. No, it's a great question. We are tracking cost increases right now that are somewhere between 18 to 20% across the board in current projects. And there is an opportunity that we could be delayed because of those or what's going on in Russia as well. Our intention is to follow the timeline that we've sent to you, but the crystal ball just isn't real clear right now.
And I totally understand that. So let's just say, what if nothing happens for 2 years or 3 years? Is there a time frame that permit has to be pulled? Shovel has to be put in the ground? Does this approval go on for perpetuity? What are the constraints?
Well, that would be the vested rights legislation. Now, in state law, it requires a construction, it sets a 3-year time frame to begin construction. And then once a construction has begun, then it sets a 10-year time frame to complete construction. Now, with a development of this size, usually you're going to do that in phases. So as long as they can hit that 3-year time frame for the first phase of it, then it just sort of boomerangs or just continues on through time. But yeah, in one case it's a rezoning, so it's always going to be a rezoned PUD. But under the state law, they're supposed to begin construction within 3 years.
And because there's several phases, once you start one, it just keeps moving.
Right. Then that 10-year time frame keeps getting pushed out.
That's all I have. Thank you.
If there are no further questions, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2022-4 Easton Gray.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Julie, would you take roll call, please?
Aaron Teveba,
Four.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth.
4.
I want to thank Republic for your time, your effort, your energy. I mean, this has been a 2-year process at least to get to this point. And so we welcome you in our community for the next 15 years to complete it.
No, we appreciate you.
Next item on the agenda, public hearing and final reading of ordinance 2022-06, reestablishing the cumulative capital development fund. Do you want me to open up the public hearing first? Do you want to speak to this, Ryan?
Let me go through it, and then you can open up the public hearing if that's okay.
Yep.
As you said, this will reestablish your cumulative capital development fund at 5 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. This is the maximum rate you can charge under the law, and it is also the same rate that you've had the past few years. This is not a rate increase. And as you mentioned, you'll have to have a public hearing on this before you consider it for a vote. And as the ordinance shows, that you can use it for a multitude of purposes, including police equipment, building construction and maintenance, right-of-way acquisition, and other delineated items. Be happy to answer any questions.
This is not raising or lowering taxes.
This will keep the rate the exact same.
Thanks, Mitchell. If there aren't any further questions, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Nope. All right. Note, public hearing. If you'd like to come forward, please state your name, and address. We'll open the public hearing at 8:19. Seeing no stampede for the microphone, we'll end the public hearing and move on. We'll entertain a motion if there are no further questions.
Make a motion that we approve ordinance 2022-06, an ordinance reestablishing the cumulative capital development fund as presented.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Julie, would you mind taking a roll call, please?
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Aaron Teveba.
4.
Next item on the agenda, final reading ordinance 2022-07, amending the heavy truck regulations. Steve or Ryan, you gonna speak to this one?
I'll get this one again.
Oh, already.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, so currently section 8-110 of the town code requires trucks, heavy trucks more than 5 tons to use Avon Avenue, US Highway 36, Ronald Reagan, and 100 South when going through the town. If they have to make deliveries or pickups off of those roads, then the ordinance requires them to take the shortest route back from their destination to those main streets. This ordinance was initially adopted in 1995, and I believe the fines associated with violations have not been updated since that time. So in order to give this code policy a little bit more teeth, this ordinance will increase those fines as it's presented. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Open this for any questions.
The only question I have is this part of the issue that we have down on 200 South with semis cutting through settlement?
No, not necessarily. I mean, shows that those are violations. This policy is what establishes that that's a violation. So this will give the police some additional teeth if they have that reoccurring issue that it's the same company or it's the same trucking company, that the fines will actually go up and make it more substantial. So it's an effort for us to help address that issue. That issue is already a violation. So, but this allows us to find them more if they keep doing it.
Without going into any detail, are we going to revise the ordinance for 200 South then? Because we still have those barricades up.
So trucks are already prohibited on 200 South. So those trucks have to be taking the shortest route to Ronald Reagan Parkway, Avon Avenue, or US 36. So in their case, the shortest route is to go to Ronald Reagan Parkway. They should not be going through the settlement. So if there's any trucks attempting to go through the settlement, they will be in violation of this ordinance.
So when do we take down the barricades?
I think Steve's goal was to discourage and get their GPS, recognizing that that's not the right way to go. So we're probably getting to that point now, but I'll defer to Steve.
Yeah, so I'm actually in conversations with their HOA president. They're asking the same question you are. You know, hey, it's working really well. We're really happy with it working, but when can we get rid of the barricades? So we're talking about what we're going to do in lieu of the barricades. And so we're considering some other traffic calming measures like bumping out the curb at the entrance. So it just makes it a little less visually appealing to a semi truck. They can still make it, but they, for people that are moving in and moving out or whatever. But the signs that we have there are oversized signs. So we have that so that if they do start to come in there, they can see that they shouldn't and that there are the fines. We also have more signs that I have made and I just took delivery on to put over by the entrance to Amazon and others. And I've gotten permission from Plainfield to install those, to tell them to go to Ronald Reagan instead of going the opposite way. So there are things that we're going to try to remove the barricades and then yet still have the semis not go through the neighborhood.
Thank you.
I think the timing is right on this because as we're opening up more industrial, we're going to see more trucks. And we do want them to use our main corridors. They're built for it. The residential roads aren't built to withhold that weight.
And they are very expensive. Very expensive.
No, it's clear.
All right. Any further discussion? If not, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2022-07, amending the heavy truck regulations as presented.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Julie, would you take roll call, please?
Robert Pope,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Next item on the agenda, final reading ordinance 2022-08, amending investment policy.
Yes, the state requires that you have to have an investment policy on file. Recently, the legislator made some changes to the overarching policies for all municipalities. And when we went looking through ours, the code book only references our investment policy by reference. So what this ordinance does is codifies the entire policy with the changes that the legislator made into our code book completely. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mitchell? If not, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept ordinance 2022-08, amending the investment policy.
Second.
We have a first and a second. No further discussion. Julie, mind taking a roll call, please?
Don Loudon,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Robert Pope.
4. We have to go to a second page here. Next item on the agenda, introduction of ordinance 2022-09, amend salary ordinance. Ryan, are you speaking to this one?
Yes, I'll take it. So as we previously discussed with the town council, the police department and the town both thought that it would be nice to offer a benefit to town employees and the Avon Police Department and to encourage healthy staff, which obviously is a benefit to the town as well when it comes to our health insurance plan. To reestablish, at one point in time, we did have a reimbursement for a health membership. And so we've recommended putting that back in. We've presented that information to the council. And so this ordinance just amends the existing salary ordinance to allow the town to reimburse employees up to $30 a month for a gym membership for all town employees. I will point out as well, just so that the council is aware, we did ask for this to be retroactive back to the first of the year. So if any employees did have a membership for like the first 3 months of the year, the first 6 months or something, that we could still reimburse them for that as well. So happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff?
None.
What's the estimated cost?
$30.
If I recall, I think the town was about $2,500 and I think the police department was maybe $3,700. So around $6,000 for the entire town.
That's, everybody participated.
Well, I think that was an assumption of about 50% of the staff, which in the past, we didn't have that much staff participate. So again, that should still be a high number. It's not for the entire staff, but our guess is we'll probably get 30% of the staff to do it. So maybe $4,000 is what it'll end up costing us. So we'll see.
Any further questions, discussion? Please note, ordinance 2022-09, amend salary ordinance as introduced. Next item, legal counsel report. Mitchell,
I have nothing more for you guys tonight. Thank you.
That is
are you sure?
No, don't do that.
Yes.
All right. Second opportunity, this is a second opportunity of two public comment opportunities. You may comment on items on the agenda that are not a public hearing or on a specific matter within the council's jurisdiction. Please come forward to the microphone, state your name and address, and limit your time to 3 minutes.
Julie Loker, Clerk Treasurer. Have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
As Clerk Treasurer, I'm required to do your annual financial report by February 28th every year. It was submitted on time. But I am also legally bound to provide it to you. This will be coming out to you tomorrow. But I just wanted to notify you and the public. It has been published as it's supposed to be in the newspaper and the Republican, and you will also all be getting notified and copies of it tomorrow. Check your emails. That is my public comment.
Thanks, Julie. Seeing no one else coming forward, we'll close this section of public comment, move on, second council comment opportunity.
Nothing.
Nope. All right, moving on. Council calendar, March 24th.
March 24th, website launch and your next council meeting. Congratulations, you do not have a work session. So it'll be an easier, quicker meeting.
A little bit of a break.
Good job. You guys did a great job tonight.
That's it. Meeting adjourned.